News First at 9. Headlines.
Bringing you the news from here at home and across the world. This is Primetime News live on News First. A very good evening. I'm Mahina Bongzel.
Hello, very good evening to you and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Shahin Durampati and these are your headlines. The Uvaposan Udane commences. Devotees in their thousands flock to pay homage to the Sarvanidata relics. Individual killed in police fire in Pasiala. Chairman of the Self-Employees Union of Nogegoda goes missing. 2 arrested in Birgama along with 85 kilograms of heroin. Earth slip on the Dirgala mountain in Hatton as a result of heavy rains. Spill gates of reservoirs opened. Trade unions allege that a rupture in a house from the loading buoy cost the CPC a loss of 3 million rupees a day.
Well, here are those stories in detail now. The Uvaposan Udane officially commenced this afternoon with the arrival of the sacred hair relics of Lord Buddha. The Uvaposan Udane is being held in Uma Ella, Uva Paranagama in Valimada.
The Uvaposan Udane, which is being organized by the Uva Paranagama United Buddhist Society and Newsfirst, is centered around the Sri Shudarshana Purana Viharya in Uma Ella, Uva Paranagama. The sacred hair relics of Lord Buddha arrived at the Poson zone from the Yatihalagala Raja Mahaviharya. The procession carrying the sacred relics left the Yatihalagala temple at 6 a.m. today and arrived at the Sri Shudarshana Viharya via Noor Elia. This is the manner in which crowds flock to the Viharya to get a glimpse of the sacred relics. The exposition of the relics began following religious observances. Devotees have the opportunity to pay homage to the sacred relics till Saturday. Devotees will also be able to witness a number of attractions including a pandal, lanterns, songs of devotion and a replica of Mihintale at the Uvaposan Udane. A special screening of the Sri Siddhartha Gautama movie will also take place at the zone along with news for screen tests.
The police has shot at a 3-wheeler that refused to heed orders in Hinatia, Katunayaka. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rona said a bystander was injured in the incident. The police media spokesperson noted the 3-wheeler fled the scene. Now moving on to a similar incident, a youth died in the Pasiala area when the police opened fire at a motorcycle that failed to heed police orders. The shooting took place last night. According to the police, a motorcycle travelling on the Colombo-Kandy main road towards Kandy was ordered to stop in close proximity to the Pasiala junction. The police noted that they had opened fire when the motorcyclist failed to heed police orders. They added that the motorcyclist managed to travel 150 meters before collapsing.
It is said that they were asked to stop 50 meters away from the location where I am at on the Colombo-Kandy road. It is also reported that subsequently the motorbike had stopped here and the shooting had taken place over here. However, the motorbike had fallen at the bend located away from here. Later, the injured were taken to hospital. There is no police post located between these two locations. However, there is a police post located away from the far bend located on this road. That means they had not passed the police post.
මේ පිරිස නැත්නම් මේ දෙදෙනා පොලිස් මුරපොළ පසු කර ගොස් නැහැ.
However, the pillion rider states that the shooting was carried out at the location where the bike fell.
දැන් පොලිස් නිලධාරීන් පවසන්නේ මෙහිදී
the police officers state that they signaled for them to stop the bike. However, they had attempted to run them over, and that is why they opened fire. An 18-year-old area resident by the name of Sachin Chaturanga had been the pillion ride on the bike. A statement has been obtained from him as well.
ඔහුගේ ප්‍රකාශයක් සඳහන් කරලා තියෙනවා.
We stopped the bike when the policeman hailed us. This was on the Kandy Road near Pasiala. When we stopped, they approached us and shot him. We both fell down at that time. They hit me as well and said that if I say anything, I would also be shot dead. Then they scolded us saying we tried to escape. There were 5 policemen and they were drunk.
තරුණයාගේ ප්‍රකාශයේ
The youth in his statement said that the shooting took place when they attempted to leave after stopping.
තිබුණා කියලා. ඒක තමයි ඒ තරුණයාගේ ප්‍රකාශය සඳහන් වෙන්නේ.
Area residents who were present at the time of the incident state that the location marked by the police officers as the place where the victim collapsed was different.
He collapsed near the road to the alloy wheel shop. The police came and flipped him over. They shouted at us to get a phone so they could call for help. I ran back home to get my phone. When I got back, I saw a white van picking them up and heading towards Varakapula. I thought they must have gone to the Varakapula hospital. The location that was marked is not close to the actual location. They actually collapsed near the alloy wheel store. The helmets of the victims were on the ground. One was well built while the other wasn't.
The remains of the deceased was placed at the morgue of the Vatupitiwala Base Hospital where the magisterial inquiry was carried out.
My son collects the money owed to money lenders on a daily basis. That is his job. He left saying that he would pump fuel from the Pasali fuel station, service his bike and return home. It is then that he had gone a little further with a friend of his when they were stopped by the police. The police hadn't listened to anything he said. They had just approached him and shot him. He was shot from the left side. The bullet exited from the other side. He had fallen along with his bike.
මේ සිද්ධිය සම්බන්ධයෙන් සාක්ෂි දෙන්න ඉන්න නේද?
සාක්ෂි දෙන්න කියන්නේ පිටිපස්ස ගිය ළමයි ඕනම කෙනෙකුට එන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් කියන්නේ බොරුවන් නිසා අපරාධේ මගේ පුතාට වෙඩි තියලා මම ඊයේ සෑසෝයන් මං ගිහින් බලුවා එක තැනයි තිබුණේ. පාන්දර 4කට නිට්ටමේ පොලිසියට කියලා යන බලුවා එක තැනයි රත්තරන් මහත්තයෝ තිබුණේ. මෙවැනි අසාධාරණයක් මගේ ආමඳුරනේ වැඳලා කියන්න වෙන්න ඉඩ තියන්න එපා රත්තරන් වත්තුවේ. මේ දෙපොලක ඉඳලා වෙඩි තියලා මගේ පුතාට තියෙනවනම් රත්තරන් මහත්තයෝ ඒ වෙඩි තියපු එක්කෙනාට කියන්න පිට්ටෝලෙන් මම බයිද කියලා යනවා. යන්නේ ස්පීඩ් එකෙන් මට පුළුවන් නම් වෙඩි තියන්න ඉලෙච්ච නේද?
සාවියට ඔය ගැන සාක්ෂියක් දෙන්න.
නේ තාකියක් කියන මොකද්ද ඔය වැඩක් නැහැ කතා කරලා. අයියෝ මගේ පුතාට.
The deceased has been identified as 23-year-old Indika Jayasinghe, a resident of Kitul Walamiri Gama and a father of one.
මේ සිද්ධිය සම්බන්ධයෙන්
We will conduct an independent investigation, one which does not fall under the jurisdiction of the Athanagalla ASP and the officers from Nitambua. An ASP from Gampaha will head this investigation.
ගම්පහ ප්‍රදේශයේ සහකාර පොලිස් අධිකාරිවරයෙක් මේකට පත් කරලා තියෙනවා.
Now, what are your views regarding this shooting? You can post and share your views and comments by logging on to our Facebook page.
Well, let's now cross over to Uma Ella in the Uwa Parnagama area in Valimada for some live footage from the Uwa Poson Udania. Now, the Uwa Poson Udania is being organized by Uwa Parnagama, United Buddhist Society and Newsfirst, and it centers around the Sri Sudarshana Ramapurana Vihara in Uma Ella, Uwa Parnagama. These footage that we're bringing to you are through live digital transmission from Uma Ella, Uwa Parnagama in Valimada. As you can see, crowds are continuing to flock to this area to pay homage to the hair relics of Lord Buddha. Moving on to more local news, a landslide warning has been issued to the Nuwara, Kandy, Ratnapura and Kegol districts for the next 24 hours. The Disaster Management Centre said that locals in those areas are requested to remain vigilant. Meanwhile, the 8 p.m. night mail train from Colombo to Badulla and the 6 p.m. train from Badulla to Colombo were cancelled this evening. The Railways Control Room said that the operations on the route were suspended as an earth embankment had fallen onto the tracks in the Watervalley area. Stephanie Lazarus of Newsfirst now joins us with a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Welcome to Weather First. The Department of Meteorology has predicted that the western, Sabaragama and central provinces and the Gaul and Mathura districts to the south will experience rainfall. The northwestern parts of the island too will experience showers during the day with the wind heading into the island from the southwest. The Met Department adds that gale force winds can also be expected time to time during the course of the day, which will mainly affect the western slopes of the central hills. It adds that there is a possibility of thunder showers developing in a number of parts of the country, and meanwhile Nuwara and Bandarwala, Hambantota and Katugasara areas will experience rainy weather conditions. Let's now take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in other areas of the country.
Now, torrential downpours that were experienced in a number of areas today hampered the day-to-day activities of the public. An earth slip in the Deergala area on the Colombo-Hatton main road disrupted traffic movement in the area this evening. Heavy rainfall experienced since dawn today has inundated 10 houses in the Podia's estate in Hatton. The Somerset and Stratton estates in Dikkoya were inundated as a result of heavy rainfall, displacing around 60 families. District Secretary of Nuwara, DPG Kumar Siddhi said that as of this evening, the spill gates of the Lakshapana, Norton and Upper Kotmale reservoirs were opened. The District Secretary says that locals residing in lower areas have been advised to remain vigilant.
Now, vehicular movement along the Rakwana-Deniaya road came to a standstill this afternoon as a result of a bridge collapsing in the Hadaraliya-Watta area in Rakwana. The bridge had collapsed when a container truck was crossing it.
A container truck carrying fertilizer from Rakwana to a factory in Hadaraliya-Watta met with the accident today. I felt like something hit the rear end of the container. When I looked at the side mirror, I noticed that the bridge was collapsing. The lorry also began to move backwards. The Galdola bridge, located across the Rakwana river, collapsed in this manner. Our correspondent said that due to the inclement weather which is prevalent in the area, a great deal of effort will be required to salvage the container.
In more local news, homicides reported from several areas of the island today as well. Crime Watch investigation has the details.
A body of a woman with laceration marks and a body of a man who had hanged himself was discovered from the Karakattia area in Mundalamaputlam. The police suspect that the husband may have committed the murder following a dispute and later committed suicide by hanging himself. The deceased are a couple aged 26 and 28. Our correspondent in the area said that the deceased have left behind two boys aged 8 and 11.
I was called and told that my sister is dead and to come quickly. It is when I got here that I got to know something like this has happened. They were fighting and he had threatened that he would beat her to death.
On the 6th of June, a body of a woman with laceration marks on her neck was discovered in a shrubbery area close to the Gampola hospital. The police said that they suspect she might have been killed while returning to her lodging after work. An individual who had consumed poison and was unconscious was found in close proximity and was admitted to hospital by the police. Meanwhile, the corpse of a male was discovered this morning from Selvanagar, Kilinochi. The police said that the victim is believed to be between the ages of 60 and 65. The body, which is yet to be identified, has been taken to the Kilinochi General Hospital. A 69-year-old was beaten to death in Ottekade, Bandaravela. The police say that the victim may have been beaten to death when he attempted to resolve a dispute between his son and a neighbouring group. Now on to our headline-making story this evening. 2 suspects were arrested in the Biyagama area today along with 85 kilograms of heroin. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rona noted that the suspects were arrested in an operation carried out by the police special task force. According to the police, this is the second largest drug haul recovered in Sri Lanka.
The suspects were arrested in the Biyagama area. A hybrid car they were travelling in was also taken into the custody of the Special Task Force. The drugs had been assorted in 25 packs of 3 kilograms, 10 packs of 1 kilogram and 1,500 gram packs. The arrested suspects are residents of the Mardana and Kotena areas.
මේ පිළිබඳ මුල් තොරතුරු සපයපු පුද්ගලික ඔත්තුකරු විසින් දීර්ඝ කාලයකට පෙරයි මේ තොරතුර ලබා දුනු ලැබුවේ. මාස 3කට ආසන්න කාලයක් මේ ආකාරයට වැටලීම් සම්බන්ධව ආවේශන රාජකාරී සිදු කළාට පස්සේ ඊයේ වන විට විශේෂ කාර්ය බලකායට තොරතුරු ලැබුණා.
We received a tip-off from an informant who had been feeding us information for a long time. Following 3 months of investigations and raids, the police STF was able to learn that the main drug smugglers would be transporting their drugs on the Biyagama-Kalania route yesterday. Nearly 40 STF officers in both official and civilian attire took part in the raid. Just as our informant said, 2 individuals who arrived in a 3-wheeler approached a hybrid vehicle. One person boarded it while the other went back to the 3-wheeler and followed the car. STF officers who were in uniform stopped the car along the Biyagama-Kalania road in close proximity to Kalania and searched the hybrid vehicle. The officers were able to discover what seemed to be drugs. It was later confirmed that the substance discovered was heroin. 2 suspects were also arrested. The arrested suspects will be handed over to the Police Narcotics Bureau along with the drug haul. Investigations will continue thereafter.
ඒ වගේම මීට අදාළව සැකකරුවන් දෙදෙනෙක් අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්තා. මේ අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්ත සැකකරුවන් ඒ අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්ත මද්ද්‍රව්‍ය ප්‍රමාණයත් සමගම පොලිස් මද්ද්‍රව්‍ය නාශක කාර්යාංශය වෙත බාර දෙනවා. ඒ බාර දීමෙන් පස්සේ ඉතිරි විමර්ශන සිදු කරනවා.
If there is some politician behind this, will you arrest?
Investigations have not revealed any such connection. I have clearly stated before as well, whoever is involved in such incidents will be arrested. There is no pressure on the police. Even if a politician is involved and we have been able to gather evidence, then there is no pressure on us not to arrest them. This information is only privy to the informant of the STF. We commend him for helping us bring down the drug trade in Sri Lanka. A special prize money will also be awarded to him. Unfortunately, we cannot reveal who he is. We will be presenting a sizable cash prize to him in the future.
However, there was an incident about a drugs container to which the Prime Minister's name was also involved. However, nothing was given to the informant who provided these details. He has even abandoned his house because of safety concerns. His name was leaked. What do you have to say about this?
I believe that the police anti-narcotics unit received the tip-off from the customs authority. Usually, if we receive a successful tip-off, we pay half of the reward money before the case is concluded in court. We pay the remainder once the case is over. I will look into this and make an official statement.
මේ ත්‍යාග මුදල් වලින් භාගයක් ගෙවනවා. නඩුව අවසන් වුණාට පස්සේ තමයි ඉතිරි භාගය ගෙවන්නේ. මම මේ ගැන හොයලා බලලා ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
The informant had faced a number of threats and had met with police officers attached to the intelligence unit and the anti-narcotics unit. They have said in an inquiry that this operation was carried out with the customs department isolating this man. He has not received any reward as well.
I will look into this matter. If such a situation has occurred, we will do everything we can to provide relief to him.
What about the investigations into whether Deputy Minister Hemal's vehicle number plates are false or not?
There have been issues about the number plate of the vehicle. We are comparing the chassis numbers as well as the engine numbers. Investigations are continuing.
The chairman of the Self-Employed Union of Nugegoda, Shyaman De Silva, has been reported missing. Relatives say that he was abducted by a group last evening.
It has been revealed that Dinesh Shyaman De Silva had left a restaurant in the 7th Mile Post area in Nugegoda last evening and met with some friends. According to his relatives, an unknown group that had arrived in 2 3-wheelers had abducted him and a friend. Dinesh Shyaman De Silva also serves as a building contractor.
I want to know where my husband is. I have 3 children and this is the youngest. I request the assistance of the media to locate my husband.
A police investigation is underway into the disappearance of 38-year-old Dinesh Shyaman De Silva based on a complaint filed at the Kohola police. Are the authorities turning a blind eye?
President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Upul Jayasuriya, today responded to statements made by both MP Vidura Wickramanayake and Chief Justice Mohan Piris yesterday.
Honorable Chief Justice, this is a time where the respect of every profession is depleting, especially in politics. The front page of a newspaper yesterday reads, "I did not bring down ethanol," while on the other side it says, "I did not beat up a policeman." These are what people who are involved in the legislature are saying. If persons involved in the legislature are being charged with such allegations, how long will it take for the respect of the law to deplete?
As lawyers, what we must do is not move away from the Constitution and operate. I trust there is a way to devolve the power within the Constitution itself. That will enable us to move towards the development of the country and achieve peace, prosperity and reconciliation. My friends, you need to keep this in mind. This is the time where we need to make changes to the outdated Roman and Dutch law, according to our society and country, and start a new journey together.
What is more important is that the depleting rule of law in the country be re-established. If the public lose faith in the rule of law, then they will not go to courts to seek justice or relief. They will do whatever he or she pleases that is justifiable to them. Today, the impeachment of the Chief Justice in an illegal manner is a cause for the international community to look at us in a negative manner. If persons are being appointed to the higher ranks of court for political gains, then the independence of the judiciary will only become a dream.
As reported to you early in the news, a youth died in the Pasiala area when the police opened fire at a motorcycle that failed to heed police orders. During a media briefing held today, journalists raised questions about allegations that the police officers who carried out the shooting in Pasiala were under the influence of alcohol when the incident occurred.
People who were present when the incident occurred had told the media that the police officers who carried out the shooting were drunk. Are you aware of this?
Investigations have not revealed that the officers were drunk. Both officers were on motor traffic duty. However, if we receive any inclination to suggest this, we will not hesitate to act.
අපි ඒ සම්බන්ධව විමර්ශනය කිරීමට පසුබට වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
The person who was shot had a bullet wound near the chest area and was shot from the front. How can a fleeing suspect be shot from the front?
I cannot comment on that as a media spokesperson. It has been reported, but only the judicial medical officer has the right to speak about this subject. The youth states that they were stopped and were shot at when they attempted to leave. This is the statement made by the pillion rider.
නැවතත් යන්න උත්සාහ කරා මේ අවස්ථාවකදී මොහු පිටිපස්ස සිටියේ මේ වෙඩි වැදිමු නා කියලා. ඒක තමයි ඒ තරුණයාගේ ප්‍රකාශය සඳහන් වෙන්නේ.
Well, in a quick weather update, the Kaluganga has overflown in Ratnapura and the Disaster Management Centre warns those living in low-lying areas in the vicinity to remain vigilant of possible flooding. The DMC also states that the Kalani River is also reaching spill level and has warned area residents there as well. Now moving on to some sports news. We are only a few hours away from the kick-off of football's biggest event, the 2014 FIFA World Cup. The World Cup is scheduled to kick off right after midnight Sri Lankan time in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Host Brazil will take on Croatia in the curtain raiser of the tournament amid heightened security.
Brazil is known to the world as a football crazy nation. This is the second time that the South American nation will be hosting the FIFA World Cup. 32 teams will be playing in 8 groups across 12 stadiums over a period of 1 month. Brazil will enter the 2014 edition of the World Cup with the aim of bringing back another trophy, while Croatia are yet to claim their hands on a trophy. Analysts believe the reigning champions Spain, Argentina, Uruguay, Germany and Portugal are the top contenders for the World Cup. The first encounter of the tournament will kick off after the opening ceremony at midnight tonight. After the end of a month of nerve-wracking moments, thrill, spills and tears of joy and sadness, who will lay claim to the $35 million golden trophy which weighs 6.1 kilograms?
President Mahinda Rajapaksa paid homage to the sacred Jayasree Mahabodhi today.
Subsequent to paying homage to the sacred Jayasree Mahabodhi, President Rajapaksa called on the chief incumbent of the Attamastana, Venerable Pallegama Sirinivasa Thero. President Rajapaksa took part in religious observances at the Ruwan Valley Saya and attended the ceremony to place relics within the Southern Hiru Mahasaya, which is under construction. President Rajapaksa also declared open the Aloko Puja in Mihintale yesterday.
Leader of the new Sama Samaja Party, Dr. Vikramabahu Karunaratne, expressed his views on the much debated political problems at a media briefing held in Colombo today.
The president says foreign powers are invading the country. Crows who are greedy for dollars are betraying the country. The International Monetary Fund operates on dollars. They take these dollars to cut down on education, to cut down the pension of the people of this country, to cut down on health, to cut down in the subsidies that are given to the fishermen and farmers. Which crow is betraying the nation and sending the health sector into destruction? The crow is now in the palace.
The Global Summit to End Sexual Violence in Conflict was launched in London to declare the first international protocol on how to document and investigate sexual violence in conflicts under the leadership of UK Foreign Secretary William Hague. An event was held at the British High Commission in Sri Lanka concurrent to the summit.
A large group including prominent personalities were present at the event.
We refuse to accept that sexual violence in conflict is too vast and complex a problem to be tackled. When public opinion is roused and governments stir themselves, change can be rapid. There is evidence that this is now happening. More than 3/4 of the world's nations, 150 countries, have now endorsed the Declaration of Commitment to End Sexual Violence in Conflict. An international protocol on how to document and investigate sexual violence in conflict will be launched, and it will help investigators preserve information and evidence in the aftermath of an attack, improving the chances of successful prosecutions and to protect victims from trauma. We will ask countries to bring their laws on rape and sexual violence into line with international standards. We will call for all soldiers and peacekeepers to be trained to understand and prevent war zone sexual violence. And we will urge countries never to grant amnesties for sexual violence.
A global summit to end sexual violence in conflict was launched in London yesterday by British Foreign Secretary William Hague and Hollywood actress Angelina Jolie. The pair are co-chairing the summit at the Excel Conference Centre in London's Docklands, which runs until the 13th of June. Up to 1,200 government ministers, military and judicial officials and activists from about 150 nations are expected to attend the 4-day conference, which is a call for action to protect women, children and men from rape and sex attacks in war zones.
Going back to some local news, Transparency International says that it condemns the attempt made by a group of people to sabotage the investigative journalism workshops organized by them. These views were expressed at a media briefing that was held in Colombo this evening.
What we wanted to do was to report on how articles relating to good governance mentioned in the LLRC are being implemented following broad investigations. We had to stop the 4th workshop as the Ministry of Defence advised us that we couldn't conduct it. Their only protest was conducting a workshop in this regard in Tamil. This was the final workshop planned by us. This is a serious concern for us. Is it wrong to conduct workshops in Tamil? Why was this disrupted? We are a legally registered institution. Aren't our actions legal? A situation has arisen in the country where journalists cannot get together and discuss matters pertaining to their job and obtain necessary training. Look into why this happens when only a certain group of journalists are participating. Meanwhile, Brigadier Ruan Wanagasuri expressed these views during yesterday's weekly media briefing of the Ministry of Defence. The security forces are not involved in this. We did not have any knowledge on who was conducting this or for what purpose they were conducting this. The army personnel simply informed the hotel staff that a large group of monks and other individuals were prepping for a protest against the hotel. They must have made this notification in order to ensure the safety of the people. Not a single security personnel went into that hotel. Surrounding the hotel when the organization is conducting such a program may be a news story to you. I believe that the army should not be involved in this. I believe that the police should intervene in such civil matters.
Now moving on to sports news, the first test of the 2-match series between England and Sri Lanka is currently underway at Lord's. The Sri Lankan team commenced their test campaign on a positive note with a couple of quick blows to the English batting lineup. The home side was invited to bat first by Sri Lanka. Lankan President Nuwan Pradeep struck in the 4th over to claim the wicket of Sam Robson, the first wicket of the day. 2 overs later, skipper Alistair Cook fell victim to the bowling of Nuwan Kulasekara. Although Gary Ballance and Ian Bell attempted to revive the English innings, their attempt was cut short with the dismissal of Ballance on 23. Bell was the next to fall for a well-made 56. England were 237 runs for the loss of 5 wickets a short while ago in their first innings.
As fans around the world tune in to World Cup 2014, a few fans out of this world will be watching the Football World Cup. Astronauts Reed Wiseman and Steve Swanson of the United States and German astronaut Alexander Gerst will be cheering on their teams from some 230 miles above Earth aboard the International Space Station. The crew sent down a special message to wish good luck to all the players and teams as they compete in Football World Cup 2014 in Brazil from June 12th until the final match, that's on July 13th. The astronauts have trained for years to work together as a unified crew, but the US astronauts and their German crewmate are feeling a little friendly competition. Their home countries will play against each other for a chance to advance out of Group G of the World Cup matches.
Well, back from space and into the aquarium, two teams of fish faced off over a big lump of feed at a Fish World Cup stand in a Shanghai aquarium to coincide with the start of the real thing in Brazil. Now, 23 fish representing two different colored teams and a referee swam around in a specially designed tank covered with plastic grass and complete with goalposts, corner flags, penalty areas and a large lump of feed as the ball. Now, the six-legged fish in yellow and blue were chosen for the match because they tend to swim near the bottom of the tank. The one fish with black and white stripes was nominated as a referee because of its aggressive personality. But while the school of fish constantly nibbled at the feed that was almost as big as they were unable to move the ball and the match ended 0-0. Two scuba divers also got into the World Cup mode, kicking a ball around one of the aquarium's huge walk-through tanks. And with that, we end today's edition of Primetime News. As always, it is a pleasure having with us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Shaheen Durrangpati.
And I'm Mahina Bongso. Thank you very much for joining us. Take care and good night.
Hotline 0114 896 896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.